What's happening, everyone? Following up from my last video where I said Luke was the best in the beta, we have access to the second beta for Street Fighter 6. So this weekend I was able to play for a number of hours against many different players, and honestly it was one of the best experiences I've had this year following up from the first beta. It was really fun, being able to play against friends from overseas on stable connection. The netcode of the game is ridiculous. Like, it's one of the best that I've been able to play on in recent years. The closest it comes to is like DNF, where DNF had really solid netcode. And at the moment, I'm willing to bet that Street Fighter 6 has better netcode at the moment. This beta was more of like a stress test, I believe, to see how the netcode would hold up with more people playing, which was cool. And yeah, we got to play some cool matches. I was able to play, as I said, multiple people and different characters. I played a lot against Ryu's, Ken, Chun-Li, Jury. Had a mirror match with Hurricane, which was really fun. Got to see how he played Luke. He was more aggressive, and yeah, it was just a wonderful experience. So I thought I'd make this video just to kind of talk through my thoughts and opinions on the direction for Street Fighter 6 based on what we've played in the beta. Many things can change moving forward, but it was just to kind of, see how the game would run, I believe. But yeah, I'm just going to give my overall thoughts and opinions on it. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the balancing. So this is something that has come up quite a bit throughout the beta, which is which characters top tier, which characters this and that. And for the most part, the characters that are playable right now, which are Luke, Guile, Ryu, Ken, Jamie, Chun-Li, and Jury, all of these characters feel very strong. Now, obviously, some characters may feel a bit better than others, but right now, I feel like in any given situation, anyone can come out on top. Every character is ridiculously good at this point. Some of the more notable characters that are really strong is definitely Guile. Guile was up there. I think Guile was ridiculously hard to beat. Very hard to get around in neutral, and when he does corner you, his loops, even though they said it was taking some of them out, they're still there and they're very potent. So that's something that's quite tough to deal with. Guile's fireball game is definitely the best. Luke has a very strong fireball game, but I think Guile's allows him to have more variety of the way he can pressure you. So it's very difficult to kind of, get him off you when he gets going. Ken is also very strong with drive rush, because he gets a lot of 50-50s and setups, which are very hard to deal with. You're pretty much guessing the majority of the game. So yeah, those two characters I definitely say are quite strong when they get going. Guile was obviously more potent. Ryu and the rest of the cast are strong, same as Luke. But right now, it's all kind of dependent on the neutral, I believe, in the game, which is like, how good are your buttons? Do you have a fireball or not? Not that it's necessary, but fireballs are quite strong at the moment. And what is your like conversions and damage like? So overall, right now, those are the characters I'd say that stand out to me the most. Is definitely Guile, Chun-Li, Luke, and I'm gonna throw Ryu in there. Jamie is strong. Jamie is very good, but in comparison to those four that I've mentioned, I think those ones are the ones that stand out to me the most. Jury's good as well, but from what I've seen and what I've played against, I definitely find those characters more of a problem, and that could be a bit of bias based on the character I'm playing, but overall, that's kind of pretty much it. And yeah, so moving forward, the next thing I want to talk about is the battle mechanics, if you want to put it that way. So far the game's pretty balanced. It's pretty balanced when it comes to neutral. It feels like when you make a mistake, it's your fault. You've messed up in most cases, and you kind of have to work your way out of it, such as like don't whiff and all of these typical things that you'd see from a Street Fighter game, which is really good, because you can clearly see in most cases where you've went wrong and how you can kind of like work on that and improve. In my case, I'm still working on anti-airs. I'm not really a Shoto player, so me playing Luke is kind of newish to me, so I've been practicing a lot. But yeah, it's kind of one of those ones where you kind of have to work on your fundamentals, and if that's really strong, it will show in game, which is really nice with 5. So the battle mechanics, I think something that needs to be changed is the throws. Throws have too much priority at the moment. Throws are very strong, and I don't mind them being strong, but the corner game, especially with the throw loops, is kind of toxic at the moment. I think that could be adjusted a bit. I don't know why regular reversals such as DPs or dragon uppercuts don't have invulnerability on them for some reason. It's an interesting decision, design choice that they've made. The EX version does, but the regulars don't, so they can be thrown, which is strange. So in the corner, your only really way out of avoiding being throw looped is the backdash to throw on a read or neutral jump. So if you neutral jump and try and get out, they can like with the throw and then DP you in the air, and then you get knocked back in the same situation. Sorry. And if you backdash, you can punish them for whiffing the throw, but if they do like a frame kill into like crouch medium kick, you will get clipped on recovery of the backdash. So your options out of like getting out the corner are somewhat risky. So I think throws could be adjusted just a tiny bit. Just because of that, like there's not much you can do, but maybe there's a reason why they've chosen to go this way. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the throw situation, I'd say. Drive rush right now, I think it's very, very strong. It's a strong mechanic. I do like that you can stop people from using it in most cases with like drive reversal, which costs less, as it should, than using like a drive rush from a normal. The only tricky bit with the balancing on drive rush, I'd say, is overheads are now -2, so they're not punishable. And if you do drive rush into an overhead, it's practically safe for your plus. So it's pretty much a given 50-50 in some situations. So it can lead to some people getting looped, which I know a lot of people haven't had a lot of fun with because, yeah, you don't really get to play that much. But outside of that, I think drive rush is okay. They can adjust the meter usage for like drive impact and drive rush overall to make it a bit more palatable. Some people want the costs to be more expensive, and I can see why in some cases, and I think that's a fair point to say. But overall, I think it's in a good spot. I think drive rush going from like parry into double tap forward and then doing it is a bit too free in some cases because it's only like one bar, so it can make some pressure situations kind of toxic. So like for example, Ken can do EX fireball and then drive rush behind it, and then you kind of got to hold it. So stuff like that, Guile can do loads of stuff like that too, where it's really, really tough to deal with. So that could get adjusted. I think one other thing that they should do in terms of drive impact, the only issue I have with drive impact is the color gradient. So I think personally, the game is very, very colorful as it is at the moment, so that's fine. But some characters, their drive impacts can be a little bit difficult to see. So I personally have a bit of an issue seeing Jamie do drive impact because he flashes yellow and his whole outfit's yellow, and it's kind of hard to make out in the heat at the moment. Whereas like characters like Luke, where he's in blue and then his drive impact's orange. So maybe they should standardize the color scheme for drive impact, have it all one color, and then go from there. It might make it a bit more tolerable for some people. I know people want it to be slower, but I think the speed's fine. I just personally want it to be the same color so you don't get confused depending on, you know, the different characters you're fighting. Like the stages are colorful, it's hard to make out. So that's the main thing that I'd say. Everything else about the game, 10 out of 10. It's like the best thing I've played in ages. I think it's sad to say, but it's better than most games right now. So yeah, and it's just a beta. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, post your comments. What do you think about this beta so far? And yeah, peace.